phoenix is rising. We have defeated Vaush. This character can't stand it.
Vaush is defeated.
It is clear to me that the Tankie
Tankie.
we are victorious.
True.
Comrade!
Ah, comrades. Come on. Bam, bam, boom.
Howdy, how you doing?
Hello.
Hello. First of
Hello.
all, sorry about the whole cult thing. That really sucks.
Oh
That's not
no.
good. You indicated an interest in arguing with me
Ben
on
said
Twitter,
cult.
which is a fine and respectable thing. What did you want to disagree about?
Yeah, what happened?
Well, I want to disagree with one particular thing.
What is it?
So it's one thing to say that Caleb Maupin was this individual that did terrible things, that was trying to build a cult, that was a sex pest. These things are all true. However, what is not true is this idea, this concept,
It's all
that
true?
the ideology that we espouse, those who used to be former members of the Center for Political Innovation, that our ideology would automatically become some sort of cult. And that's what I'm here to debate today.
Yeah. Okay.
Cult.
Just to clarify my position, I don't think that it automatically produces a cult, but I do think that, like, ideologically, you guys are authoritarian. And you're authoritarian in a way that kind of requires sort of like an anti-empiricist perspective. That is to say, like, your perspective involves like ignoring reality.
Oh no.
So I think that the puzzle pieces are already set into place for wacky behavior like that to take place.
Let's hear more.
Which is probably not
good. Is
he
wacky? Is he no good?
I disagree entirely. I think that our ideology has lifted millions of people across
Billions
the
of people?
poverty. I believe our ideology actually advanced forward human progress, is one of the main reasons why FDR was able to pass a New Deal.
Hello, Nashidaka. Hello. Yeah, let's watch it together. It will be not the same because you will hear my commentary on it, you know? It will be like a brand new set of eyes, and I will give like a whole new perspective, okay? Okay? This person's perspective has lifted millions of people out of poverty. Did you know? Did you not know? Okay, let's listen. Nice glasses, Vaush. Nice beard, cultist. Well,
because he wasn't able to do that without being pressured by the CPUSA, the SPA, and trade unionists that were in coalition to force FDR, the actual
woke moralist
class. I don't think the welfare state of Europe would have existed if it were not.
Really? Nonsense? No, that's impossible, right? That's impossible. Good. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's listen more. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this, whole shebang. About the ideology that has lifted up millions out of poverty and gave me a job. Okay? So there we go. Oh, tankies. I have to start my anti-tankie arc. I will start a poll, okay? I know I just started the stream, but I'm a poll addict. I'm a poll addict. So I really need to poll you or something on something. Even if you're the only person active right now, I want to know your opinion, because your opinion matters to me. Okay. Should Lucy start her anti-Tankie arc? Yes. Yes, please dish out the documents. Absolutely not. Tankies are saints. There you go. The best poll. Start poll. Start poll. I want to know your opinion. I need to know your opinion. I need your opinion. Let's go. gonna wait a minute. But for you not to be bored, because I know that just waiting for the poll to be finished can be super boring. So, as you answer the question in the poll, watch me gathering. What am I gathering here? Watch me gather squids and lavers and other underwater things. You voted? You voted? Okay, let's go. Yes, please! Dish out the documents, okay. After stream, I will prepare the documents and I will do my first anti-tanky stream. Let's go. From the Polish perspective, Poland used to be a Marxist-Leninist country, you know, which means that I am uniquely qualified to bash on that horrid ideology. Plus, you cannot accuse Lucy of being an imperialist since, you know, Poland was part of the Soviet bloc. Well, got him hard. Yeah, I know, ridiculous. Did you know that Stalin was actually really afraid of invading Poland because Stalin got his ass kicked in 1920? And so he was afraid of attacking Poland in 1939, and Hitler had to say, if you won't attack, then I will take it all myself. And Stalin was like, oh no, oh hell, guess I have to go in, even though I'm super afraid because I still think that Poland might potentially kick my ass like they did in 1920. Oops. Oh no. That was pretty funny. So we will talk about all of that in my anti-tanky. You know, I should get some tankies on the debate the tankies. Let's go. Starting my anti-tanky thing. Yeah. It was totally unprepared. He killed all of his generals. For God's sake. Oh, we will talk about it. Don't worry. But let's now just get into this debate, okay? Shall we get into the debate? Yeah? Okay, let's go. Amazing.
Or existing communist states like the Soviet Union.
Communist state.
You know, there wouldn't have been.
It's really telling that you have no idea what communism actually is if you say communist state. When communism is supposed to be a stateless place. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. A stateless place. Okay. Oh, he will. Okay, I see. A stateful communism.
The successes of the Soviet Union with the space race, with
advancing
technology and other things, if it were
Star
not
Wars.
for our ideology.
Yeah, so the problem, you've already demonstrated it, is ideological incoherence. You've basically just roped together everything that you think looks good and, determined them to be a part of your ideology. The lifted millions out of poverty you're referring to, I assume you're referring to Dengism, is a liberal reformist revisionist ideology. The labor unionists and people who pressured FDR were largely anarchists and working class socialists in America. The people in the USSR were Marxist.
Everything, my ideology is when everything that I like happens. Very good. Everything that's good is my ideology, and everything that's bad is not my ideology. Very good. I did it. I have described my ideology, TM.
Marxist-Leninists, aka Stalinists, aka fascists. So the problem is I don't think you really
he looks
believe
like a
anything outside of a
lunatic.
kind of
Not to,
generalized
not to
anti-American.
judge people by their looks, but I can sort of tell how it happened that this person had joined a cult. Okay, is it mean? Is it mean for me to say that this person looks like a cultist? Is it weird for me to say that? What do you think? Goodism, yeah. Good ideology. A good ideology is goodism. Good. What? Wait, what? He lives what? Are you serious? He lives on the street? What? How do you know that? Wait, will he say that in the video? That he lives on the street? Why does he live on the street? Why? He does? What? Is that a real thing? Okay, let's watch. Oh my god. Wait. Oh. Wow. Spicy debate has gotten spicier. Okay. This is exciting.
Hegemony,
Well,
which isn't
I believe
necessarily
in
a bad thing to believe in on its own, but it's not enough, you know?
It's not
I
enough.
disagree. I see that if it were not for
I disagree. It's absolutely enough. I say my thing's good, not my thing's bad. It's even more than enough. What do you mean? What more do you want? What more could you possibly want? Nice. Well done. Well
the
done.
ideology that we pushed as
True.
MLs, we would not
ML.
have had most of the positive things that
MLMs.
workers have experienced across the world. Quite frankly, it was always the communists.
Quite frankly, nothing would exist without the Marxist-Leninists. Even Marxism would not exist without Marxists-Leninists. You see? Well done.
It was always the Marxist-Leninists
who
actually pushed for these things first.
True. They invented electricity.
The civil rights movement only existed because communists were on the ground first before anyone else.
True, Marxist-Leninists.
Communist. You're claiming ideologies I don't think you're a part of.
Marxism-Leninism is communism.
I'm sorry?
Marxist-Leninism is absolutely not communism. Real communists fought against Marxist-Leninism in the 80s and even before that. Yeah, I know. I heard that argument before and it's ridiculous. The USSR did mass murder on Polish people and then blamed it on the Nazis. We will discuss this in the future as well, because this is ridiculous. Ridiculous and stupid. Marxism-Leninism is something that real communists opposed, and I will name the communists that fought against the Marxist-Leninist government. Do I have the numbers of people that were killed? Oh, I have the specific incidents. They are very well documented. The incidents are documented, and tankies try to pretend that it never happened. Of course. Yeah, I've got the data. So we're gonna discuss it in the future streams. I'm not gonna pour it all out right now. Oh, I will do whole anti-tanky. You have, the audience had spoken. My anti-tanky arc is opening today. I'm gonna open the documents. I'm gonna take a photo of my document base. I'm gonna tweet it and make the tankies scared. Scared in their boots, okay? You are the first witness of the opening of the Big Lucy anti-tanky arc. It's true. So yes, the first doctrine of the Lucy anti-tanky doctrine is real communists opposed Marxists-Leninists. They first tried to reform the system from within and then decided to oppose it. I will remind you. Okay, socialism is pro-worker rights, right? It's a pro-workers movement at its core, right? Also communism. Do you agree with this statement? Do you agree that socialism is pro-worker at its core? Do you know what the opposition to the Marxist-Leninist government was made of primarily? Do you know how it started? It started from a workers' strike. That's how it started. It was a primarily workers' movement. So there we go. The primary movement towards toppling down the Marxist-Leninist government were the unhappy workers with their conditions. Gosh, who would have seen it coming?
Leninism is communism.
No.
Even if I believe that, which I don't,
Very good.
You're still laying claim to ideologies that aren't Marxist-Leninism. Like Dengism is not Okay, we need to back right up because let's not talk about labels here because like again, this is like
True.
cult brain shit.
It is.
We need to talk about like actual
Vaush.
beliefs.
True.
So
you are so correct, Vaush. I'm clapping for you right now. Here. There you go. I'm clapping for you because Marxist-Leninism is not communism, not by a long shot. There you go. The person from outside of the imperial court is clapping for you right now. I'm gonna drink some water, which I will cut out of the edited video that I will upload for the YouTubes. Don't worry, you will not hear me drinking water on YouTubes. Nom nom nom. That privilege is reserved for the people that are here for the live stream. There you go. If you're watching this live, you can watch me fumble, make mistakes, and drink water.
So the last event that was put on by Maupin's little shindig before it fell apart was one in which the
cult leader.
what was it? The like Soviet and U.S. flag were held together at a 2-minute salute before bringing out the Z, the symbol of the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
True.
So so the last event held was a pro-fascist event, which does little to inspire the communist associations. I also haven't seen any like actual communist positions from any of you guys. Like you never talk about class or Marxism for that matter. You usually just defend what the class modern states that have red in their flags, which gets a bit confusing, especially when the modern Russia and modern China have engaged in like respective de-Sovietification and de-malification, with China on policy undoing the Cultural Revolution and re-deifying its old imperial leaders.
The Cultural Revolution was a travesty. I'm gonna say it right here, right now. The Cultural Revolution was a huge, huge travesty. It was like a crime against humanity. Destroying books, destroying landmarks, destroying culture. It's a travesty, okay? The so-called Cultural Revolution.
So it's like, what do you guys actually believe in apart from countries that aren't American? Because it seems like it's totally inconsistent. It's just whatever like big military hegemon isn't America, you guys like them more than any.
True.
Scientific socialism explains that over a time, our understanding of material condition changes. So this idea as if China, modern China, thanks to the market reforms that Deng did, for example, would not be Marxist-Leninist, would fly in the face of literally the
scientist Leninism explains. Jesus. What is this nonsensical babble? Like, you can really tell, this is a really big tell that a person does not engage with you when they respond with this scripted, weird response, right? When they're like, the doctrine of X explains blah, 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 blah. They're not able to engage with what you're saying. They're just responding with a sort of like a dialogue thing that's prepared, pre-prepared dialogue, you know?
books that both Deng and Xi Jinping have written. Okay.
What about Marx?
So
Okay.
Karl Marx was the beginning of at least scientific socialism, right? Lenin was an extension of Karl Marx, and then you would argue for in the case of China, Deng and Xi Jinping were expansions on both Lenin and Karl Marx.
Yeah, more like contradictions of. I don't think Marx would have approved of, let's liberalize our economy and introduce members of the billionaire bourgeois class into the vanguard party of the CCP. That seems to me somewhat antithetical. I thought the point of a vanguard party was to represent the interests of the proletariat. How can you possibly do that if it's made up mostly of members of the bourgeois?
Socialism is when we create super capitalism. Did you not know? Billionaire class, very good, very good. And also get rid of democracy because, because democracy sucks at the end of the day, right? Doesn't it? Doesn't it suck? It sucks.
Same with Russia, by the way.
If you don't understand how it is important to actually get the wealth extracted from the global south,
True. Don't you understand that capitalism is important?
Countries like China, for example, right? You would understand that socialism
you just don't
would
get
not
it,
be able
Vaush.
to be implemented.
You just don't get it.
This is part of the problem.
Don't you get it?
The Cultural Revolution was they were not organized based on material conditions. They thought they could change society through culture instead of material conditions. So the expansion of industrial growth under China with Deng and Xi Jinping, the whole reason that they were able to accomplish what they were accomplishing was because they were stealing back the capital that was stolen from them initially from the West.
Capitalism.
So again, this isn't a Marxist perspective. We're talking, again, you don't like talking about class. So I just talked about the bourgeois being in
class. What is this class you're talking about? What, are we back at school now? Are you back at school, Vaush? Go back to class? What is this? We're talking about scientific socialism here, Vaush, not about class. You can go back to class if you want to. This is a fully formed, out of school, already, did his graduation from school, doesn't need to talk about classes. What is Vaush talking about? Ridiculous. Isn't that ridiculous? Silly Vaush. I don't know.
Power in Russia and China, and your answer was that they need to have the bourgeois in power as a way of mobilizing the productive forces of China to get their money back from the West. Which, first of all, they're doing a terrible job because America's still number one, baby. And two, what does that have to do with Marxism? If your perspective is only anti-imperialist, then just say that. But Marx would have never said, yeah, just let the bourgeois control your country if it lets you sufficiently exploit your working class to, like, get the wealth back from the West.
If you do not extract the wealth back from that was taken from the West, it is impossible to actually create a communist society. Socialism is not when everyone's equally poor. Socialism
is not when everyone is equally poor. Real socialism is when most people are poor, but you have billionaires. That's when real socialism, you see. It's not when everyone's equally poor. It's when a lot of people are poor, but you also have the billionaire class to steal the resources from places. There you go. That's real socialism. Don't you get it, Vaush? You keep talking. Maybe that's why you keep talking about class because you need to go back to school and learn about those things, huh, Vaush? Huh? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. I figured it out. Vaush needs to go back to class. There you go. Doesn't even understand scientific socialism. Ridiculous.
Socialism is when we rationally organize labor around people instead of profits.
These are cult.
True. Real socialism is when we organize a billionaire class. Don't you see it, Vaush? Don't you understand basics of socialism? You call yourself a communist, Vaush, but you don't even understand such basic concepts. I'm really disappointed in Vaush's narrow analysis of the problems. I'm really disappointed. You understand me, don't you, Nyadashaka? You understand my Marxist-Leninist analysis of this problem? Communism and socialism are when you create a billionaire class to oversee the accumulation of money from places. There we go. We've solved it. Oh, and also when you do away with democracy. There you go. We've done it.
Answers. These are all no, it is. I can see it in your head. You're following these answers from bumper stickers that you have in your mind.
Stickers?
Think for a second. I'm talking about class. So why can't the CCP manage
to be able to economically progress?
You need a billionaire class,
financial means to actually make that possible.
Okay,
and that is in the 21st century has lifted millions of people out of poverty and have created a society that is a lot more rationally organized than anything that we see in the West.
Capitalism has done wonderful stuff for China. I agree. But we're not talking about class. Wait, I'm begging you to engage in class analysis.
Feudalism had markets, capitalism has markets, socialism has markets. The old slave states have had markets. Markets are not
markets.
Can have markets. It can't.
Markets. Oh my gosh. No, I don't expect Marxist-Leninists to have class. No. Oh my. Markets. What you mean? Billionaire class? What you mean markets? Everywhere has markets. What?
Can't have bourgeois. I'm talking about class. You keep ignoring the class element. This is the fourth time now. I talk about class and you're like something else, class.
Let's clarify. If we want the working class to do well, we do not want them to all be equally poor, okay?
If we want the working class to do well, to be prosperous, Vaush, then we need to do what's best for the working class. We need to create a billionaire class that will take care of them. Of course. Don't you see? The best conditions for a working class is when they have a billionaire above them. Of course. I see. So this is what socialism is. Okay, that makes sense to me. Makes perfect sense to me.
So
I don't know
this
about
isn't
you.
ignoring the class element, it's expanding on the class element.
Yeah, of course.
So why
it's like a billionaire is like a working class person plus. An expanded working class person, so to speak. It's like an upgraded working classman. That makes perfect sense to me. That's why they have more, because they are like upgraded. Yeah, upgrade? Expanded?
Need to be in the CCP. If it's a proletarian state, which is what they claim to be, then why would they allow the bourgeois to be part of the CCP? They should be the underclass. The bourgeois should have the boot of the proletariat upon them.
Are you trying to confuse us with
are in the CCP?
The bourgeois into the Chinese Communist Party. they would never have been able to bring the wealth that was stolen by the West back into China.
True. Of course, we would never be able. China would never be able to do anything without the billionaire class. Vaush, are you okay, Vaush? Are you even okay?
Do you need to put the billionaires in charge of your society in order to take the wealth back from America?
What thought was, right? To have everyone to be equally poor, people to be in poverty, people to, end up being
If we didn't have billionaire class, everybody would just be equally poor.
Wait, please, just what I'm actually saying here, okay?
No.
So I'm talking about class analysis, like in a Marxist sense. So why would the Chinese Communist Party, which is meant to be the vanguard party, the vanguard of the proletarian state, how are any of its goals for proletarian advancement brought about by putting the bourgeois in power?
By allowing the export of capital to return to China.
How could they not just do that through policies implemented without having the bourgeois in power?
Because how would they do it without billionaires, Vaush? Everybody would just be poor. Oh, you don't understand socialism at all. Vaush does not understand socialism. Socialism is naturally when you have the billionaire class that oversees the working class, because otherwise everyone would just be poor. Of course.
Economic resources within China when they were in like a semi-feudal state that just got socialized. Okay, they did not have the capital, the means in which to actually move production without bringing back capital to China.
No, I'm not talking about bringing back capital. We know China has to have capital. I'm talking about the bourgeois. Why do the bourgeois need to be in power? You can just mobilize the capital and resources of the bourgeois without putting them in power. That's the point of a proletarian state.
Relations with China, if China did not allow sectors of capital to be within their party.
So explain to me how they needed to put the bourgeois in power in order to use the resources of the bourgeois. As I understood it, a proletarian state is a state in which the proletariat are the dominant class. You can just exploit the bourgeois as an underclass without putting them in charge.
You would not be able to get the capital from the West if you did not put people within the CCP in positions of power, so the West would trust China to think that China was going to be liberalized by the West.
It's like the Russian military strategy. It's a feint. They're like, okay, we're going to fill our vanguard party with members of the bourgeois to trick the West into using our sweatshops. Really? That's the best you've... Sorry, my cat.
And
that's the best you've got?
It was successful. I mean,
exactly, it's successful.
They're capitalist. Well done.
It's successful. Well, there's a billionaire class. Socialism has been achieved, you know? It's true. Real socialism, as I have explained time and time again, is when you have a billionaire class that oversees the working class. There we go.
Don't want poverty.
Yes, China is capitalist. They're poorer than us and they have sweatshops. They're doing great.
Yeah.
They are not poorer than average Americans. The GDP might be lower in China.
This is such cope. Like, if you're really unironically making an argument that an average person in China is richer than an average person in the US, you're coping. I'm sorry, you are coping. Like, it does have sweatshops, it does have all those things. Like, this is just cope. I'm sorry to say it.
China, but the quality of life for average Chinese workers compared to average American workers is a higher quality.
Yeah. Higher quality of life for people in sweatshops. And no contradictions here. No contradictions here. There are sweatshops in China, but the workers in China have higher quality of life than the ones in the US. Okay. Right. This is not delusion. This is not cope at all.
Do you have a source on that by chance?
Not on me, no.
The source is that I made it the duck up. Or maybe, or rather, the source is that I made it the quack up. Okay.
I can confirm that is the case.
Oh, okay. Well, your confirmation is what I need. Okay.
Wait, what did he? I can confirm that is what?
Yes, China's capital.
Life
Wait, I want to hear it
compared
again.
to average American workers is a higher quality.
Do you have a source on that by chance?
Not on me, no, but I can confirm that is the case.
Oh, okay. Well, your confirmation is what I need. Okay, so I still don't understand how the bourgeois need to be put in charge. Maybe that's what America's doing. Like, we have the bourgeois in charge in America as part of like a 70 chess strategy to advance the proletariat.
You have to have politicians in any government that's capable of understanding geopolitics in such a way that they can manipulate the West for the benefit of their own country.
Can the proletariat not understand geopolitics? Are you a classist?
They are not. Actually, Chinese workers understand things.
I don't really have any sources, but I can confirm that it's true. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this a lot from now on. I can't really I don't really have any evidence, but I can certainly confirm that it's true. Is this a thing? Is that a thing that Lucy can do from now on as a true socialist? I don't really have any source to back it up, but you know, I can confirm that it's true. Your confirmation is all I need.
Things a lot better than American workers, largely because they are not propagandized like American workers.
So why not just have the proletariat in charge?
Say it again?
Why not just have the proletariat in charge?
What was that?
If they understand things so well, why do you need the bourgeois stepping on the proletariat?
China. At any point, the Chinese government, ran by the workers of the country, are capable of stepping in and changing how production is operated.
But the bourgeois are in charge. We acknowledged that earlier.
Oh, they're not really in charge. They're just in governments. That doesn't mean they're in charge.
They're not really in charge. The bourgeois is not really in charge. They are just billionaires. They just have influence. They just have power. But they're not really in charge per se. Okay. That's some cope, if I ever heard one. Oh.
I take it back. I do think that your ideology leads intrinsically to cult behavior.
Yeah.
This is insane. So the problem is, I could never convince you of this, but you're not a Marxist. You're not even like remotely a leftist. You're just a nationalist for countries that aren't American. That's the only consistent ideology you have. You'll repeat like state lines of propaganda from them, but outside of that, there's like no consistency in what you believe at all. It's certainly not Marxism. We are so far. This is like scientific.
Does he even know or understand what Marxism is? Like, I highly doubt. It's all such weird cultist like thing. It's like so weird. The Marxist-Leninist ideology is so strange. Especially when it's like weird diluted Marxist-Leninism that is practiced in the US. That's a really weird hybrid, really fanatical hybrid, you know. When people discuss and practice it from the other side of the globe when they've never really experienced it in any shape or form.
Socialism, like we scientifically just rounded back to capitalism with nationalist characteristics.
You do not understand dialectical materialism. You don't understand that our understanding of material conditions change over time.
To capitalism.
True.
Not to capitalism, okay?
So it seems.
Not to capitalism, okay?
Change over time.
Okay,
you don't step in the same river twice. Okay.
So again, I can see the bumper stickers flying through your head. I don't think you're an unintelligent man, but you're still.
Well, the jury's out on that one. I think that this is a pretty unintelligent man. I'm not as charitable towards this person. I'm gonna say it. I think this is a pretty unintelligent man. There we go. I'm not gonna be as charitable as Vaush. I say this is not. I say this is not a very intelligent man. Okay, Vaush has been very nice. Vaush has been courteous, but no. I do not believe this man to be very intelligent. I'm sorry. I can't agree here. Agree to disagree, Vaush. Agree to disagree.
Like, I still feel like I'm talking to a cultist right now. You're not engaging in analysis when you...
That's interesting, because I feel like I'm listening to a cultist, so it tracks, I guess. It tracks.
On to me, which is why I feel like I have to keep wrangling you back to the point that I'm on. You have like predetermined propaganda lines.
Points that you're trying to gear the conversation into the means that you control it, right?
Basic Marxism, just basic.
Understands the working class of China and Russia and all of these different countries. They are, struggling against U.S. imperialism.
True.
That is the fact of the
Every
situation.
single, yeah. No.
I like...
Russia is not struggling against U.S. imperialism. Russia, listen carefully. Russia has been doing imperialism before the U.S. had even existed. That is the reality of the situation. Russia has been doing imperialism before the U.S. had even existed. So don't bring me this cope about Russia struggling against U.S. imperialism. Because I'm not about to buy it. I'm not buying what you're selling. Thank you.
No, I don't know if I even necessarily agree with that.
No.
Well, of course, you support NATO.
I think that the workers of China and of Russia are mostly subservient.
This is such deluded cope to think that Russia and China are just struggling against U.S. imperialism. That is such cope. I cannot believe. But I will expose the cope in my anti-Tankie Arc. Prepare for it.
Their own bourgeois states. More so than anything. There are plenty of countries that are directly subservient to American imperialism, but China is powerful enough.
So far, I'm not really offering that much insight because I want to dig into the books and dig into the documents and prepare a really well sort of, a sort of like really well informed assault on the Tankie. But once I do, it's gonna be a slaughterhouse, But now I can give some vagaries, some quips, but the anti-Tankie, arc is coming. It's coming, and it's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be merciless. It's true. It's true. There's gonna be
that
blood.
If it wanted to,
There's
it could
gonna
provide
be
a better life for its citizens. It chooses not to, but...
They do. They do provide a higher quality of life for their citizens.
I'm sure, right, I'm sure.
They do not.
Does,
I'm just going to say
Iran.
they do not.
So does Venezuela. So does Nicaragua.
Yes.
So does Cuba.
Yes, the citizens of Cuba, Iran, Nicaragua, and Venezuela all have higher qualities of life than American citizens. I'm sure. I'm sure the sources you could provide on these issues are...
I'm flying in a house while all of those people have guaranteed housing.
I'm sure. There are no homeless in China. There are no homeless in China. There are no... Yeah, I know. Again, like, it's just nationalism here, but none of it, like, revolves around class interest in the slightest.
True.
It's just like you like these countries.
To be better off, you have to remove U.S. imperialism before anything else.
Well, there's not really much of a point in removing U.S. imperialism if they're just going to be subservient to the interests of their bourgeois-controlled governments.
All the countries, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and China, and Russia, and Syria, and Iran, it would be better if we just let them be under the boot of U.S. imperialism.
How about, what if we got rid of, okay, so this is a crazy idea. So we should get rid of imperialism. That's good.
That is true.
Because without U.S. imperialism, the people of Syria would be doing just fine.
Because people
Actually,
under
let's talk
those
about the people of
regimes,
Syria.
like,
So,
understand.
in addition to removing U.S. imperialism, there's also another powerful autocratic force in that region that's suppressing the will.
Assad, he's such an evil person. You know, this guy that didn't even want to be the leader of this country, that only got forced into the position after his brother died. Yes.
Yes, the person who inherited the monarchical position from his father and won with a 99.9% approval rating. I know.
99.5% approval rating. Sounds legit to me. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that exists in the real world. I'm sure people really truly get 99.9% approval rating. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that seems legit. It's like that other communist leader, what's the leader of Belarus? Lukashenko?
Yeah, I'm sure. Poor Assad.
Actually support their leader.
Baby.
If only the protesters he gunned down understood his pain. Do you wait? I genuinely have to ask. Wait, so because I just heard what you said, even though your mic's a bit dodgy, but that's fine. That's that's whatever. You just said, oh, so something they support their leader. Do you sincerely believe that the election results for Assad and his father were legitimate? That like
I don't believe he cannot say yes to this. I don't believe it. He can't. No one. Like you would have to have some damage to actually answer yes to this question, okay? There would have to be something wrong with you to answer yes. This person legitimately got 99.5% approval rating. Well, let's see.
99.7%. You do?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to fall into another cult as soon as this conversation is done. You realize that, right? You're literally going. Like,
this person's trolling. I don't believe this. Wait, I have to drink water. This is trolling. I don't believe that this person answered yes seriously. This has to be some troll. Then I muted myself because when I drink water, I do some vocal, warm-up thing. Every time I drink some water, I do some warm-up. So I mute myself to do a quick warm-up, and then I mute myself to continue. So yeah, I do not believe that this is a serious statement from this person. That 99.5% approval. Come on, get real. Be real. Let's get serious, okay? That's because I did the exercise.
It's going to end, and you're going to walk outside, and somebody with a pamphlet is going to convince you to kill yourself on the street.
This is cults. The cult of NATO, the cult of U.S. empire.
Cult of NATO. This person is really, really easy to manipulate if he believes that 99.5% approval rating exists in reality. Like you really, really have to be. Well, he did join a cult, so that speaks for itself. That does speak for itself.
For them, you literally are arguing in favor of NATO.
I know it's to a dogmatic person. It might be difficult to understand. I guess. Maybe you can help me. I don't know how to talk to a person like you because you are in a different world. You don't exist in the one that I exist in.
You don't exist in reality.
How I can talk to you. Is anyone delusional enough to believe that Assad's election results Like, all the info we have, like, you have to ignore so much in order to believe that that was the legitimate democratic will of the people, that I legitimately, like, I put this on tier of, like, Holocaust denial in terms of how far gone you have to be from reality.
Physically impossible. I'm sorry.
But the problem is, like, you believe this about everything. I've talked to Nazis plenty of times. Normally, their delusion begins and ends at a very specific set of things when it comes to that level of, like, self-delusion. But for you, it seems to be
I actually get much more frustrated by what tankies say than what straight up Nazis say, to be honest. Because what tankies say is so delusional, so crazy, so insane that, I don't know, it's like, this is why I'm starting the whole arc against it. And I will document it, I will provide books, I will provide receipts, I will provide documents. It will be a fun ride, and we will go through it together. Yeah, exactly. So insane.
like half the countries on Earth are subject to your nationalist
Interesting
dogmatism.
how you would view Nazis as more rational than communists. It's almost as if you support Ukraine.
You're not a communist.
See, that again was a bumper sticker answer. You didn't address what I said. You just
communist.
like thought of like, well, what's one of the predetermined lines I have? I don't think of you. You're not a communist, so I don't think it's a fair comparison.
I am a communist. You aren't. You support NATO.
Right. Again, it's dogmatism. You don't have any logic. You just have talking points.
It's dogmatism to like support countries that are actually improving the material conditions of their own
Stop
working class.
right there, criminal scum.
Dogmatism to support NATO, to support U.S. empire, to support.
You're doing it again.
And pushed by the U.S. State Department. That's not dogmatism.
You're doing it again. You're not actually So okay, the point of an argument is that you address what a person has said and you respond to it in a manner to refute it. What you're doing right now is you're repeating.
You're just answering with slogans. Just answering with slogans, which is pathetic, by the way. So pathetic.
Like talking points. So you keep bringing up NATO. I haven't brought up NATO once. I don't know why you keep bringing it up. I'm only
because it's the slogans that he's got prepared. That's why.
So, but you keep running to other like things. Do you understand? Like we were talking about Assad.
No.
Because you are advocating for NATO and advocating.
We're not talking about NATO. I didn't bring up NATO.
He's got the slogans prepared. He's not gonna engage.
Hide behind this leftist spear.
Yes, you do.
Actually, just saying it outright that you support U.S. imperialism, that you actually believe that it would be better for the United States to control and manipulate the world.
I don't believe that.
The worlds? More than one
Your
world?
actions say otherwise. When you do not support those who are actually fighting against U.S. imperialism, but instead support U.S. imperialism because, they're a lesser evil, effectively what you are doing is serving the interests of multinational corporations, serving the interests of monopoly capital.
Oh my God, it's all bumper stickers. Okay, wait, let me try to roll this back. Okay, so when America invaded Nazi Germany, would you agree that that was an extension of American imperialism?
No, it was actually working with the Soviet Union to crush the Nazis.
Wait, we occupied part of Western Germany. It was literally imperialism. We conquered a country and then occupied them for like 50 years after.
That was the beginning of the control of the U.S. imperialists and the decline of the British imperialists.
Oh my gosh.
So yes, in that detail, that would be supporting U.S. imperialism. But up until the point where they actually took out Nazi Germany, that was the United States under FDR actually fighting on the side of the Soviet Union.
Okay, so initially you realized the Soviets and the Nazis allied, right? Wait, I'm sorry. Is your perspective on the righteousness of World War II determined entirely by...
What is he saying? Did he mute himself? What is he screaming there in the background? Why did he get like this weird stroke thing when Vaush said that they were allied? And they absolutely were allied. Does the term Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. Does the term Ribbentrop-Molotov trap the the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact mean anything to you? Does it mean anything to you?
Who Stalin was aligned with?
The Soviet Union did not ally with the
Oh my
Soviet.
god! Please, so wait, it's funny that we brought up Holocaust now earlier because you're about to do Nazi apologetics again.
True.
They were an Axis power. Pigeon.
No, they were not.
They were
having an agreement.
Technically speaking, they were not an Axis power, but they were definitely allied. So, semantics, really.
Did not attack.
Damn. Oh, agreeing with the Nazis. That's crazy. Why would Stalin do that?
Saying, hey, I understand that the Nazis are going to declare war on us. Let's try to prevent our country from being invaded for as long as possible.
Yeah. Good prevention of being invaded as long as possible is when we just invade a neighboring country together with a different invading country. Yep. They were forced to ally with the Nazis to invade Poland because they didn't want to be invaded. It makes perfect sense, right? Yeah. Yeah, if you can fight them, join them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, do you want to know a secret? Germany, and there are some Nazi types in Poland that claim that Poland should have taken that offer. Germany offered Poland to join Germany after giving Germany Gdansk and an international highway. Germany said we could march together and attack the USSR. And do you know what Poland did? Poland did not say, oh gosh, don't attack us, let's go and invade the USSR. They said, no. You know? Crazy! But a much bigger country, the USSR, well, guess it got scared and decided that it must invade Poland. Interesting, huh? Interesting how it goes. Interesting how it works. Interesting, huh?
So we can build up our military forces.
That's a great excuse, dude. I love allying with Nazis for self-preservation.
Yeah.
The United States, the UK, France, none of these countries wanted to ally with the Soviet Union against the Nazis. Let's remember that it was the...
What do you mean ally with the... What do you mean ally with the Soviets against their Germany? Germany did not even attack anyone at this point. What? What do you mean? Poland was the first country that Germany attacked. War was not being waged back then. Who would they ally against exactly? What do you mean? What is this nonsense? Poland was the first country invaded by Germany. There was no other country. Germany first invaded Poland together with the USSR.
US and their billionaires, or at this time multi-millionaires.
It was extremely necessary for them to invade Poland and ally with the Nazis, and only breaking the pact when the Nazis invaded them. I know, it was very necessary.
They had to have that pact so they could make sure that their military forces were ready, because the United...
Yeah. The USSR had to prepare its military force. And do you know how the USSR prepared its military force? By purging its higher brass, by killing all of its generals and commanding officers. Yep. This is how the USSR prepared its military, by executing all of its officers and generals. Amazing. So they invaded Poland to prepare its military, and the preparation of the military was executing the officers and the generals. and having to quickly appoint new ones after Germany had invaded. Amazing.
United States and Britain and France and the rest of the Western powers were not willing to work with the Soviet Union.
They had no choice. No choice at all.
True.
Okay, I know we weren't even on this. We weren't even on this point. We can stop with the Nazi apologetics for a moment. So
Nazi apologetics. I'm sorry, you're the one who's apologizing for Nazis.
You're defending allying with Nazis right now. Like you guys. Wait, please, just for a moment. Wait, please. I just think it's really funny that you guys screech about the Azov battalion because there were like 2,000 guys out of hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers who are Nazis. But meanwhile, the Soviets literally allied and split up Poland with the Nazis for years, and you guys are like, they had no choice. Like you're like, oh, Zelensky is going to throw Nazi militias at the Russian invaders. This means the entire country is a Nazi. Oh, but the USSR working with the Nazis for years, peace talks, allying, trading territory, agreeing how to carve up Poland. Oh, that was a totally necessary.
Fine. That's
again,
fine.
I know you don't actually believe in anything outside nationalism, so let's just move to the imperialism bit.
I don't believe in anything other than siding with U.S. imperialism, but that's really besides the point.
The
point is, the Union was in a position that they had to make sure that millions of their people were not slaughtered by the Nazis.
I know. It's fine. It's okay. Wait, I want to get to the imperialism thing.
Who said they were preparing by the wasteman and resources because the USSR, basically, Stalin never, he was pretty open that he wanted the USSR to basically return to the, at least return to the borders of the Russian Empire at its height. Stalin openly talked about it. Stalin actually didn't even want the USSR to be called the USSR. He wanted it to be called Russia.
Please.
If all these countries would have actually signed with the Soviet Union, which is what Stalin tried to push initially, the Soviet Union would have never had to have a defense pact with Nazi Germany.
Stalin is such a hero. He heroically invaded Poland. What a hero.
Agree with you. Allying with Nazis is fine. Thank you.
True.
So anyway,
best course of action.
With the imperialism thing. So we agree that America invading and occupying Germany was U.S. imperialism, right? Considering that it was the U.S. doing it, and we invaded, and we...
To be fair, technically speaking, after the war had ended, the U.S. and USSR were not really the only countries occupying Germany. It had whole districts carved up right after the war for different countries to occupy. So it was a bit more complicated than, than just U.S. and the USSR occupying Germany. I'm pretty sure there were districts for many, many countries that occupied Germany right after the war.
Literally occupied territory.
And allowed a bunch of literal Nazis after the fall of Nazi Germany into the government, going into NASA.
Well, you're in favor of allying with Nazis, so you shouldn't have an issue with that.
So I am in favor of allying with anti-imperialist powers.
So
you are in favor of allying with Nazis.
So anyway, now that we've agreed that there was at least one instance of American imperialism that was morally justified.
Also, yes. He absolutely just did play apologetics for allying with Nazi Germany of the USSR. He absolutely just did that.
Viable. Maybe we can acknowledge that
it was not morally justifiable to occupy West Germany. Let's be very clear. The United States should have pulled out entirely, only gave them financial resources to...
Germany was pretty much carved out into sectors.
And support the reunification of Germany under a Soviet government.
This is one of the most... This is one of the most insane things I've heard so far from this debate. Germany should have unified not under a German government, but under a Soviet government. Is this for real? Is this for real? Germany should not have unified under a German government, but under a Soviet government. Is this person for real?
What? Why? Wait. Why would they just give West Germany to the Soviets?
Is this for real?
The West Germans didn't. Wait, what? Wait, why would they do that?
West Germans did not. I will finish for Vaush here. West Germans absolutely did not want this. I sort of doubt that even Eastern Germans liked the situation they were in.
So USSR could just annex Germany?
The Germans unified under the Soviet Union. That would have been the best way moving forward for the German people.
No,
instead,
no.
you ended up having Germany split in two.
Not.
The West Germans disagree.
True, they do.
That was the creation of the West.
Okay, I know you're angry that you lost the Cold War, and that the communists won, but East Germans are on our side now.
The Cold War is continued, except now China is leading the Cold War.
The fact that you believe that explains...
The Cold War is continued by China leading the Cold War. Is this person okay? He really does look like some fanatic cult weirdo, I swear. This is I hate to be this person, but this is what happens when the illiterate try to discuss politics, you know? This is exactly what happens when the illiterate, they don't really try to understand anything, they don't really try to engage with anything, and they just learn a bunch of slogans and throw them around. This is what happens.
So much of your ideology. Okay, so anyway, even if the US had only provided aid to West Germany and only done the invasion, that still would have been imperialism, because exercising your power over another country is by definition...
an economic system. It's not just invading a country.
Oh my god.
I can't get to anything.
I can't get to any talking point with this guy. Holy shit. Okay, so whatever would have happened, America's involvement in World War II was a broadly justifiable act of American imperialism.
End of the Second World War. After the end, it would have been better for Germany to reunify.
Okay, wait, stop, please.
Under the Soviets?
Other talking, please. I'm just talking about U.S. imperialism in World War II. We get it. You like the USSR. You have virtue signaled sufficiently. I am begging you for just a second to please stick to one topic. Holy shit. Okay.
I love it.
No, I know you love it because, you're brain damaged. You literally just got out of a cult.
It sounds so mean for me to say this, but I'm not gonna say a word. I'm just gonna say I do not disagree. Okay? I'm just gonna say I do not disagree with Vaush's diagnosis. Okay? Let's just leave it at that. I do not disagree with the diagnosis.
You can't be proud of your ignorance when you were just suckered by a cult leader sex pest. You're literally talking to me as though this is part of some broader ideological victory on your part, when you just got a person you trusted turned out to be a lunatic. And I'm trying to get to one point, and it's abundantly clear to me how this happened to you. So I'm just
I listening to this conversation, listening to this debate, I can certainly understand how this happened. I can sort of see how this person was in the Caleb Maupin cult. I'm sorry, I'm sad to say I can sort of see it. If the chat can see it as well, I can see it. I'm sorry. I'm a bit mean, but I can see it. I am not shocked.
Okay.
I'm not really that surprised.
If American imperialism was justifiable in an element of World War II...
And I never made that argument.
Yeah, you don't make arguments.
We don't agree
of
on
course.
this part.
We don't agree that stopping the Nazis was good?
We agree that stopping the Nazis was good, but that wasn't an act of imperialism.
Okay.
That was supporting the Soviet Union.
When you invade a country and take over an area of that country, that is imperialism.
Also, the U.S. was not just some, backup for the Soviet Union. It was actually the opposite. I would say maybe I'm being pro-West here. Maybe I'm being quote-unquote delusional, but I'm pretty sure the US was more of a driving force behind defeating the Nazis than the USSR was. Sorry to say this. Maybe I'm being a real heathen here. Maybe I'm being ridiculous when I say this. But it is something that I am fairly certain of. I will, of course, read up on it more, refresh my knowledge of his World War II history, but I am pretty sure that the US was more of a factor behind the victory of the Allied forces than the USSR was.
Imperialism is an economic system. It is the highest stage of capitalism.
Oh my God, I knew you were going to say that. The talking points. First of all,
a talking point.
So first of all, you literally just...
Also, imperialism existed before capitalism existed. Thank you.
Talked about how we should have provided economic aid to West Germany. That would have been imperialism by the Leninist definition.
No. We should have provided economic aid for the whole of Germany, supporting the Soviet Union, and assuming that FDR didn't end up croaking, we would probably be still allied with the Soviet Union. It probably would still exist today, and the United States would have been moving towards socialism.
I guess it's ironic for somebody who claims to care about material conditions for you to be rooted entirely in an imagined version of the past. Jesus Christ, you sound like those Rhodesia fanatics in England, you know? Like, if only this or that had happened, then maybe we still could have had our white supremacist...
Let's be very clear.
Let's be what?
Let's be very clear, Rhodesia. That is not a real country.
Well, I know you don't think so because
never actually happened. That was backed by the CIA.
Yeah, I know you believe that because it was an English project. But if the Soviet Union had done Rhodesia, you would be talking about how they were trying to advance proletarian interests with the Vanguard Party.
Like a certain countries, quote unquote, within Ukraine, you know.
Of Russian agents in Africa.
You know.
You would talk about how Zimbabwe is like a fake state that emerged only because of CIA involvement. Like the only thing you care about here is national interest. You've made that abundantly clear.
True.
You can't say anything apart from like eulogizing the Soviet Union.
I agree.
Scale.
What?
I care about the progress of the working class on a global scale.
I'm sure. Okay.
I doubt it.
I'm trying to get you around to one point.
No, I don't doubt
think
it.
It's going to happen.
It's not true.
Okay, let me try this, okay?
I know it's BS.
The United States is more socialist than Russia or China is, and I support NATO because they advance the self-determined interests of countries that are a part of NATO, which is a part of Marxist thought. National self-determination.
How is the United States more socialist than any country?
I know it's crazy, right? But it's true. I genuinely believe that.
True.
What reasoning? Based on what material conditions are you talking?
Well, first of all, the United States is a liberal democracy, and Russia and China are both dictatorships.
Liberal democracy is not closer to socialism. No,
than a dictatorship. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Literally, Vaush. Karl Marx argued against liberalism. Okay, so
But
no.
he argued.
This is the language of a brainlet, by the way. This is the language of someone that does not think about what they're saying. This is like such.
Of democracy, though. Have you actually read Marx? Did you know that he did you know Marx actually wait, please, you haven't read Marx. I'll help you.
Yeah.
Did you know Marx actually believed that the United States through its democracy could become a communist society,
Yeah,
socialist state,
and that's
whatever.
one of the examples of how Karl Marx is wrong. He believed that capitalism would
Marx was
naturally turn into
wrong. See?
socialism. But that's
No,
been
wait,
There
proven
we
by
no,
go.
no, no,
Marx
no, no,
was
no,
just
no. He
wrong.
generally believed
He was
he
just
generally believed that
wrong.
violent
Wrong,
revolution was
Vaush.
necessary, but he was so
Wrong.
enthusiastic about
Wrong.
American democracy, he thought it possible
Yeah,
that it
wrong.
could be achieved peacefully here. An indication that Marx
Wrong.
thought positively of democracies.
Marx is wrong.
As explained by
True.
Lenin, what
True.
Karl Marx got wrong was
Everything.
that capitalism would not inherently lead to socialism.
True.
There would be a monopolization that would happen under
If
capitalism.
you want socialism, you need dictatorship, Vaush. You need it. You need dictatorship. You have to do away with democracy. There we go. Socialism is when you have dictatorship. There we go.
That would create, inevitably, imperialism.
So imperialism didn't exist before capitalism?
Yes, empires existed, but empires and imperialism are not the same thing.
What is the etymological root of imperialism? Could you tell me?
This is such a strange take. Imperialism did not exist before capitalism. Yes, it did. I'm sorry. Yes, it did.
It is monopoly capitalism at its highest state.
The etymological root of the word imperialism. Where did it come from?
I don't care about the academic.
It's not academic. It's you can't argue that imperialism didn't exist under empires when the term.
Well, I'm also not surprised that this person does not care about the academic perspective. This is another non-shocker to me within this conversation. I can't say I'm surprised by this person not really caring about academia. I cannot say I'm surprised.
Imperialism derived from empires.
Liberals. That is the wrong definition. It is not the definition of Lenin. Only the definition of Lenin is
only the definition of Lenin. Nobody else.
Anyway,
if there's a definition that's not the definition of Lenin, then it is incorrect. Of course.
Democracy.
In fact, I'm pretty sure that Lenin was the one that created the concept altogether. Before Lenin, there was no such term as imperialism. I am sure of it. Lenin created the term.
Is a socialist principle. It is. You can't really separate the two. The idea of self-governance by the working class is essential to socialist thought. So,
bourgeois democracy is not inherent to socialism.
I didn't say bourgeois democracy. I said democracy.
What the United States has is bourgeois democracy.
See, this is this person's problem. He thinks that democracy is bourgeois democracy, and this is why he thinks that socialism is when we have dictatorship, because democracy is bourgeois democracy. There we go. But the weird thing that he seems to admit is that he is pro-China having a bourgeois billionaire class. So that's kind of weird. But that's okay. That's because the billionaires are there to extract wealth from somewhere to someone somehow. So it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to have a billionaire class if you have a dictatorship. That's okay. When you do that, it's socialism.
Yeah. Do not have real.
No shit. I said liberal democracy. What is a liberal democracy but bourgeois?
Hey, is somehow closer to socialism when they have bourgeois democracy, which you admit.
Which you admit.
Yeah. Because it's better than authoritarianism.
You admit, Vaush.
That doesn't mean that it is socialism.
I didn't say it was socialism. I said it was closer
when something is closer to socialism, then it means it is socialism, of course. This is why I say these people are just brainless. They just think in slogans. They do not really listen to anything that is being said. They do not understand anything that is being said. They do not engage with anything that's being said. Anything that does not, agree with the slogans that they throw out. They just, I don't know, their brain just goes into overload or something.
to socialism.
I really do not like Marxism-Leninism.
It's not
I'm
closer
not a
to
fan.
socialism.
Democracy, even if it's bourgeois democracy, is closer to socialism
Yes, it is.
than authoritarianism.
No, it's not.
This was the opinion of Marx, Lenin, and Mao.
It's not. So basically, what he is saying, if someone says democracy is closer to socialism than a dictatorship, and he says no, it's not, then what? Is a dictatorship closer to socialism than a democracy? Is that what he's saying?
All three agreed that there were systems of government farther from socialism.
Countries that would later come about, like the Ba'athist states of Syria and Iraq.
So
they were referring to anti-imperial powers like Iran. They were referring to
It's Iran.
Like Venezuela and Nicaragua that are moving towards socialism, but have fully accomplished socialism. They were not referring to bourgeois democracy.
As I was saying, if you'd read Lenin or Mao, you would know that they all agreed there are systems of government farther from socialism and less conducive to socialist activism than bourgeois democracy. For example, fascism, that's one, and imperialist autocracy.
It's under Karl Marx, so no.
I didn't hear you. You cut off.
I know for a fact that when Karl Marx was alive, there was no fascism.
That's why I just said Mao and Lenin.
You also included Karl Marx, so...
No, the last two people I said were Mao and...
Is this real? Is this what we're doing now? Is this person for real? Is this where we're at? Oh, you included... In this group of people, you included one person that did not live when fascism existed. There, got him. Gotcha, Vaush. Whoa, gotcha. Got him. Is that really the level of discourse? Is this really the level to which this conversation has dropped? Is this really the level that we're operating on now? Is this person so desperate to get Vaush in the debate that he has to point to things like this? Or maybe he's just an idiot. I will let you to decide if it's like some weird, desperate try at getting at Vaush, or if this person is just an idiot. But in the meantime, while I go to the toilet in the meantime, I will leave you with a Paul, because you cannot be bored. I will not allow you to be bored. Not on my watch, okay? There you go. You will not be bored on my watch while I go to the toilet. Is this person dishonest or just not smart? Oh, the jury is out. I see that this person is... The result is... The winner is... Not smart. This person is indeed, in fact, not very smart. There we go. Hooray! Hooray! Not very smart. Okay. Who could have seen it coming? Who could have seen such a result happening? Not me. I'm shocked, to be sure.
And Lenin. And I said that they wrote and agreed
but you
that there were systems
included Marx, Vaush.
Then so included Karl Marx.
Yeah, you included Marx, Vaush.
You also included Karl Marx. You did not just talk about Lenin.
Yeah, you included Marx, Vaush.
You can't blame me for you not listening, man. Look,
you can't blame me for me listening to you not knowing what the fuck you're talking about.
Bro, you don't know what you're talking about, Vaush.
Okay, it doesn't matter. So anyway, now that we've agreed that important people whose opinions you care about very much,
you ain't know nothing.
They believed that liberal democracy was preferable to other systems of government in relation to socialism.
We did not believe that bourgeois democracy was closer to socialism. That is not true, and you know it's not true.
if you read these guys, they did in fact think that there were systems of government further from socialism than liberal democracy. This is the whole dialectical.
You would know that they were referring to countries that would be more like Iran or Ba'athist countries or countries like Venezuela or Nicaragua. They were not talking about bourgeois democracies.
They were. This is why, again, you can read stuff that Lenin wrote on the British Labour Party back in the early 20th century. You can read stuff that Marx wrote.
He did not read. He did not get the memo.
As a means to make it eat itself. That does not mean that he supported bourgeois democracy.
I did not say. Oh my God! Please, okay, wait. Please, I'm begging you. I am not saying they supported bourgeois democracy. I am saying no. Please, no. Listen, I can help you. I'm helping. Okay.
Help.
I'm saying.
Helping? Are you helping? I think
I'm helping you. I'm helping. I'm helping you. Please, God. I'm like Mother Teresa. I'm leaning down. You have brain leprosy. I'm trying to help you. The bits of your gray matter are falling off, and I'm trying to replace them. Listen, I'm not saying they supported bourgeois democracy. I am saying they preferred bourgeois democracy to some other systems of government.
They never said that, and you literally did.
Exactly.
They did.
Exactly. They never said that. They actually preferred dictatorships. They loved dictatorships. And dictatorships are better than democracy, Vaush. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about, Vaush. If you think democracies are better than dictatorships, then you are clearly lost. And then you are lost, as they said in Star Wars.
Supposedly, Lenin allied with the social democrat liberal reformists of the post-Russian Empire when fighting against the what are they called, the Black Knives. Mao put on hold fighting against the PRC so they could both resist Imperial China.
Lenin and the Bolsheviks sided with one side of the ruling class that was against the
Black
First
Hundreds.
World War, that for the fight against the side of the ruling class that was for continuing the First World War. It was politics. This is how politics works. At the end of the day,
I'm talking about politics.
Were ripped from power. They were not unified within the Bolshevik Party. They were kicked out of politics entirely. In some cases, actually imprisoned.
What are you talking about? I'm only saying that both Mao and Lenin allied with.
Yes, they temporarily allied with people that were part of one segment of the ruling class to force the other side of the ruling class out of power.
Yes.
Because they liked one type of power better than the alternative, which was dictatorship. Is he an idiot? Is he? Well, we already answered in the poll that he's not very smart, so we can.
Why did Mao choose the PRC to fight with over Imperial Japan? And why did Lenin choose the liberal reformists over the Black Hundreds?
People under the Red Revolution.
What?
Because the Japanese imperialists were slaughtering the people that were under the banner of the Red Revolution.
Okay, so great. So the Imperial Japanese were worse than the PRC during the occupation of Manchuria. Or sorry, not the PRC, the ROC, the Republic of China.
For a temporary alliance to defeat them.
Okay, I agree. So maybe bourgeois democracy or liberal democracy exists as a kind of tool that socialists can use and exploit in order to achieve real socialism, whereas systems like dictatorship and fascism are harder for socialists to exploit.
The difference between Japanese imperialism and, say, American imperialism is that Japan was not in the position to extract the wealth of the global south.
Sure. Japan never extracted goods from any country, even though it basically colonized all of Asia and literally did extract resources from all of Asia and also did murders, killings, and other sorts of abuse. What do you mean? But yeah, this person is really about to embarrass themselves.
Far East. However, the United States imperialists are in that position. They are the main enemy in our time period.
First of all, that has nothing to do with what I was talking about. Second of all, Japan was literally creating the Southeast Asian prosperity sphere. They were literally creating an imperial empire at the time. They were worse than us. They slaughtered millions. America has exploitative trade deals.
Even before World War II started, I think it was either 1937 or 1938, Japan invaded China and killed more than 8 million people just when it invaded before World War II had even started. You could argue that that was the real start of World War II even. You could argue that invasion was it. You know? It's horrible. They kill like 8 million people or more. And then they killed a lot more later still.
These days.
Millions. How many? We did the banana wars.
Okay, are you going? Wait, please tell me. Please tell me that America today.
The wars in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, the war in Vietnam.
He's going through the list. I actually think, I genuinely think, if you went over like all those wars,
all the governments
he's not stopping.
In Central America. You're trying to tell me that the U.S. imperialists are actually better than the Japanese imperialists, or better than almost any other imperialist other than maybe the British?
Okay, hold on. Real quick, even if you added all of those together, yeah, I do think that America is a hell of a lot better than the Imperial Japanese. I know you don't think that because America bad is your only ideology, but
Imperial Japan was really, really horrible, and we should actually read about it and go through it on stream as well. We should do the Imperial Japan arc as well, because those things are overlooked as heck, and then idiots like this can just go around and, and do stuff like this.
Logical position because you're a national chauvinist that supports the United States no matter what.
Are you a pro rape of Nanking? Out of curiosity?
I don't know what that is.
Holy shit.
And there we have it. I don't know what that is. There we have it. That statement alone speaks volumes. And this person is really so confident when speaking about imperialism, about Japan not being or being imperialist. I don't know what that is. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's really hard to comment on something like this. Not sure how to react to something like this, to be honest. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Chat,
I'm not really surprised that he's kind of speechless.
No, I know. Me too. How's your day going?
So why do you support Ukraine? Why do you actually support Ukraine?
I could answer, but you're not gonna like it. You're gonna have some weird.
I want you to answer so I can knock it down. So go ahead and answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, why don't you answer and I can knock it down? I can knock it down. Answer. I'm so gonna knock it down. You're not gonna knock down anything, okay? You ain't knocking down anything. Okay, do you want me to answer that question? Why I'm against Russia invading Ukraine? You want? You want me to answer? You want my answer to that question? My answer is basically one, because for the longest time, Russia have made attempts to destroy Ukrainian identity and culture too, because Ukrainians don't really want to be part of Russia. And well, that's basically it. Ukrainians just don't want to be a part of Russia. Countries deserve not to be invaded by greedy empires. That's my answer, okay? That is my final answer.
Okay. Because the people of Ukraine don't want to be invaded by Russia.
There we go. Just same answer.
Why. That's at the end of the day, that's the only reason.
Region, 14,000 of them wanted to be slaughtered by the Azov Battalion and other Nazi
I said he's gonna have a weird. Like, what the f does this have?
It doesn't matter. That does not mean that a country deserves to. So, is this person's logic that whenever something bad happens in a country, then the country deserves to be invaded by a different country? Is this really the threshold that this person has? When a country commits something bad, then the other country has carte blanche to invade it? This is insane. This is an insane threshold, and I don't even believe that this person holds this threshold. I don't believe it. This is BS.
Have to do with not wanting them to get invaded. Like, it's like totally tangential. So again, the reason I support them is because they don't want to be invaded by Russia.
Exactly.
No weird Azov analogy can, like, no parallel can take away from that.
The People's Donbass Republic. Wow.
Oh, speaking of projects of not real countries, interesting.
Because there's not like an actual answer here, right? The funny thing is that the Marxist principle of self-determination is critical to like mainstream socialist thought, but that's like totally inapplicable.
Which just by coincidence would become part of Russia. What a coincidence.
I'm the chauvinist. Yeah, I'm the chauvinist, not you that supports U.S. empire and imperialism. Sure, okay.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Sure.
It does.
Sure.
It genuinely does outside of your bubble. You know, you're like a Nazi grasping for air. I'm like, did you know that the transnational banking class is universal? And you're like, but the Jews, like you're like completely. I'm trying to explain to a fish what water is. Like, you're so.
True. A Caleb mopping fish.
You know,
that's even worse. A Caleb mopping fish.
To explain why we should support U.S. imperialism.
No, I just said that I support Ukraine in this war because they don't want to be invaded by Russia.
U.S. imperialism because they are a puppet of the U.S. government. They have been a puppet of the U.S. government since 2014.
Sure.
Yes. Sure. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Maybe we should. Okay, let's try a new tactic. Okay. I support Ukraine because I'm an American chauvinist and I want America to conquer the world. I believe America is true socialism. The founding fathers, with their constitution, enshrined socialism into the law of the land. And I think that you're a fascist, and I think that you're a revisionist. And yeah, we're going to do global American socialism.
Based, Vaush. Based.
Unironically, yes. You're actually the most revisionist human in existence. There's nobody more revisionist than you.
Revisionism doesn't exist.
What?
That's first off, okay?
Wait, what did you just say?
Yeah, revisionism is not a thing. Material conditions.
Revisionism is not a thing. Interesting. Revisionism is not a thing. Let's see. Okay, let's see. What is revisionism? Let's do a little bit of a study session. Revisionism definition. Well, revisionism. What is an example of revisionism? The Holocaust. The Nazi Holocaust is one of the most well-known examples of historical revision or denial. The denier's argument was that the Nazi regime's murder of some 6 million Jews during World War II did not occur. So according to this person, this sort of revisionism does not exist. Good to know. Good to know that according to this person, no one ever denies that the Holocaust happened. Good to know.
change.
Revisionism is not a thing.
Change based on
this man, his whole family and his entire town would have been shot in fucking Stalinist Russia, dude. Holy shit! It would not have been enough for them to have gotten you, man. They would have fucking nuked your home village. Jesus Christ! Oh God.
Revisionism is not a thing.
Are supporting U.S. imperialism.
Yeah, I know. NPC dialogue line reset. It's like ending a convo with a Skyrim NPC and then restarting it, and they get you.
I've recently been watching Westworld. Maybe this person is a host. Maybe Vaush should have said, "Listen, cease all your motor functions," and the person would be like, "Ah," and would just stop and wouldn't be able to move. You know? And then Vaush would say, analysis. What made you say that? And then he would say what sort of programming or loop made him say that. You know? Yeah, this person is a host. If you haven't watched Westworld, you won't get the reference, but, I'm recently a very big Westworld nerd, so that's a thing that I do. Westworld references. It's true.
Get the same opening line from them.
Yes, this person's
so anyway, I support Ukraine because I want them to kill all Russians because that's good for America or something.
Very good.
What do you think?
I think it's based.
If you stop supporting U.S. imperialism.
I think it's based, Vaush. I think it's based. So based. Support it so much.
And actually viewed outside of your national chauvinist lens, we would actually be able to get through your thick skull of what things are actually like in the world.
What if America is socialism? Then wouldn't you actually be the imperialist?
True, it is.
India and China are now working together against the United States.
As fascists, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The systems the United States has implemented where it keeps the global south and far east oppressed, extracts the wealth, and then pays the labor aristocracy in the United States, which is people like you, Vaush.
We have to do all
people like you, Vaush.
All of that is necessary for socialism.
Socialism if you sit on your fucking stream. So yeah, you're so building socialism right now, Vaush.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the best part is you actually believe it.
Yeah, you believe it, Vaush. You believe it.
Doing one socialism per minute over here. We're achieving very high rates of socialism. Yes.
True.
As an American, only Americans can be socialist, actually, because other nations are. What would somebody like you say? Other nations are pathogenically imperialist to their core and reactionary bourgeois states until they're reformed or something.
Things like it's sarcastic, but you actually believe them, and that's the crazy. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah,
you say it sarcastically, but you actually believe it.
That is true.
So what's next?
Yep.
So what's next? What's next in what context?
What context?
Well, it seems like I'm winning.
What is the context?
US is still on top. China is having a housing crash. They're going to have a population dip once their population boom.
What is this face?
Numbers. India is not even like fully committing to support Russia in the conflict. Neither is China. They're both kind of like dropping them like an ugly stepsister.
Ugly stepsister. That's
like you are so coping right now. The United States is experiencing a massive decline.
Vaush.
You know, the material conditions. We have roads that are being reclaimed.
Is this is this like this weird slogan that they just wrote? The material conditions, Vaush. The material conditions. This is also a thing I'm going to do from now on. I'm just going to say material conditions randomly. This is what I'm going to do.
All across this country turning back into
this is what
roads.
Socialists
do. That's called environmentalism.
Like San Antonio, Texas, that, last year, where the water supply was poisoned. We have, Flint, Michigan that still doesn't have clean water. We have highways that are falling apart. We have rail systems.
Highway to heaven.
You're talking about all these systems.
True.
Right? Or rather, I'm talking about all these systems that are collapsing right in front of our eyes right now.
True.
And you actually think, well, China is out there building high-speed rail, while Russia is advancing the oil production, while
Russia is out there thriving, Vaush. Russia is out there thriving. Can't you see this, Vaush? Can't you see how Russia is thriving right now?
Russian oil's doing great right now.
You're
we have
coping.
the United States collapsing, and you think that the United States is on top. That's insane.
Yeah.
You are
we don't have money for infrastructure because we're spending all of it on socialism.
You're insane, Vaush. You're coping.
We don't have money because we're spending on the military-industrial complex.
The socialist the military-industrial complex owned by the government? Socialism.
True. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Nah, Sadak, absolutely true.
The did you even say?
The military.
What did you say? What did you call me?
It's controlled by the DoD, the largest employer in the United States, aka state-owned enterprise, aka socialism.
True.
Socialism is not.
Because everyone knows socialism is when the government does stuff. Got him. Got him. Yeah.
Just state enterprise. That's
yes, it
state
is.
capital.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Also, you're a revisionist.
Also, you're an idiot. Okay, so let's be very fucking clear.
We finally got to the ad hominem. Now it's getting heated. There you go. Now it's getting heated. It's getting to the ad hominem. Did you see? Calling Vaush bad words. The ad hominems are being thrown around. Now it's really blood sports territory. Also, yeah, he doesn't notice he's being trolled. They never do. They never notice they're being trolled.
The States is collapsing. It is decaying right now.
True.
People's economic, material conditions are decreasing. More and more people are homeless. You try to tell me the United States is on top when you drive through Seattle and you see a town of tents? When you drive through Los Angeles and you see a city of tents on the sidewalk, and you really think that the United States is doing better? Meanwhile, you have countries like China that's building the Three Forge Gorge Dam, that is the largest dam that has ever been built by human beings in the world. You think that countries like China and Russia that are working together to develop fusion energy, you really seriously think that they're the ones that are declining, and it's not the United States that doesn't even have proper clean water?
It's funny.
It's true. The U.S. is declining, and the U.S. is not even invading Ukraine like based Russia is. What do you say to that, Vaush? The U.S. is not even invading Ukraine. There you go. Checkmate. Checkmate, Vaush.
It's funny how you would say. It's funny how you would say the collapse of the United States is bad for America when the dissolution of the state is a prerequisite for communism.
I think
Look who's the communist now.
The conditions of the United States and working people is getting worse for this country.
Exactly.
I don't want working people in this country.
Maybe if the U.S. did the base thing, maybe if the U.S. invaded Ukraine, it would be as based as Russia. But as it stands, it's a failed country, and it's in decline. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
I want a government that actually represents working people and not multinational corporations.
True.
The very exact thing that you say that you support because you're supposedly some sort of socialist.
No, we need the multinational corporations to take the wealth back that's been extracted.
True. Preach, Vaush.
Say it again?
We need the multinational corporations to take back the wealth that's been taken from the West by countries like Nicaragua and Guam.
Oh yeah, it's the so
Nigeria.
You're saying we should have imperialism, right? To supposedly build back the labor aristocracy in the country.
Do you know how many dollars worth of bombs we gave to Laos for free?
True.
I absolutely agree. The United States shouldn't be giving bombs to anyone. That's one of the reasons why I'm against Joe Biden selling weapons to Saudi Arabia to bomb the Yemenis people, right? And that's part of the reason I'm glad that Saudi Arabia is now moving in the direction to be part of BRICS. So they are no longer part of this U.S. imperialist system. I'm glad that Israel and Saudi Arabia are selling off the reserves of the U.S. dollar, and I'm glad that they're buying the Chinese yuan, because that means eventually these countries are going to move in a direction that actually takes care of their people instead of oppressing them.
Yeah, taking care of their people through degenerate bourgeois pacification, which supplants class consciousness.
True.
American economic austerity
True.
is designed to maximize class consciousness.
That's right.
Which is why America is the most pro-labor union and pro-socialist country on earth.
Strong Communist Party and Socialist Party of America during the times of, the last few decades, right? When U.S. empire was expanding and bombing all these different countries, right? That's
liberating.
Liberating, true.
Was at its height, right?
That's right, Vaush.
It was at its height during the 1930s and 1940s, coming out of the Great Depression.
The largest party in the United States today is a communist party.
When the labor aristocracy is that is when
that's right.
The United States has strong class tendencies within the country.
If you think class consciousness is at an all-time low in the U.S., then how did Biden win with record high votes in 2020?
Got him. Boom.
Are you seriously suggesting that Joe Biden was a vote of class consciousness?
Are you suggesting he wasn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I absolutely am. That's not a class conscious vote. People voted for Joe Biden because they were sick of Donald Trump.
Donald.
The vote for Joe Biden was a victory for the working class over the liberal reactionaries who supported Donald Trump. Were only China and India capable of following in our footsteps? If Russia could, they wouldn't be in the quagmire they're in right now, as the glorious socialist vanguard of Ukraine pushes back their weak and inept invasion attempts. As our socialist HIMARS rain down thermokinetic bombs.
I could not have said it better.
Yeah, let's be very clear. Ukraine banned socialist and communist parties. How could they possibly be a glorious vanguard of a country that are literally banning and killing communists?
They're not killing any communists.
Sources.
They are.
No, they're not.
They've communists. They've killed Roma people. They've killed Russians. They've dared to kill Ukrainian citizens that just happen to be more on the side of Russia than Ukraine.
No, they haven't.
They've killed so many freaking people. Yes, they have.
Ukraine has not killed a single person.
It's just this person is just listing people now and said, Ukraine killed everybody. Ukraine just basically killed everyone. They killed everybody.
Okay, clearly
all Russian casualties have been due to friendly fire, such as the ineptitude of the fake socialist, bourgeois capitalist state of Russia.
Yeah.
The oligarchs have not trained their men well.
Character of you right now,
did not send their
which
best.
is pretty fucking funny, because you're not having an intellectually honest conversation with me right now. What you're doing is creating the most sarcastic points
so dishonest,
that you don't actually even believe in the first place to try to argue against my position at this point. That's all you're doing.
I'm just trying to match the tone. It's something autistic people do when they're in mixed company.
Mixed company?
I'm just trying to match the level of retardation present in this conversation so that we can communicate on the same level.
That clearly what you're saying right now, that's not ableist at all.
Ableism isn't real. Socialism requires a frank, candid, and scientific understanding of the distinction between retards and non-retards, exemplified by this conversation, determined largely by whether a person agrees with me or not.
Can you just admit that you've lost this debate?
How could I lose? I'm American.
Lost this debate, Vaush.
The Red Phoenix is rising. We have defeated Vaush. This character can't bring an argument against us. It is clear to me that the Yankee Tankie has won. We are victorious. Solidarity, comrades!
Comrades! Gee, he's gone? Or he just quit? Did he rage quit? Or did Vaush kick him out? What happened?
I want you guys to know that it took an overwhelming amount of self-control on my part when he was talking about me sitting at my home streaming to not make jokes about our relative class positions. It took an overwhelming amount of self-control to not really unload on that guy. And I gotta say, I'm really proud of myself. Yeah. That was LARPy as fuck. It's important to understand because, like, I've done this enough times to recognize it. Like most fascists, that guy believes and also doesn't believe most of what he said. So
what happened
obviously
here?
The problem with that convo is that he will just state things that are factually untrue anytime like a clarifying follow-up is pointed, he'll either double down on it or he'll just move to another thing. There's no actual point in a conversation. You legitimately might as well argue with a magic 8-ball. But as is often the case with people like that, he simultaneously does and does not believe the stuff that he's saying. You've probably noticed that before with like 4chan type fascists, where like they'll say some obviously ridiculous shit, and the extent to which they believe it is kind of determined by how well the comedic element of what they've said goes over. That's why I called him anti-empiricist from the beginning. Though I didn't think he'd be that bad. Did he ever figure out that you were making fun of him? I think he figured it out at the last bit right there, and that's why he left in that fashion, which was fairly embarrassing. I mean, obviously, like, oh man, I don't want to be super mean, but guys, remember when I was going over the Caleb Maupin stuff? And I was like, don't feel too bad for these guys, because even though they're victims of an abusive cult, they're still fascists. True. I mean, keep in mind, like, this is the type of person we're dealing with here. We're dealing with people who, it's not just they got suckered into the cult, like, it's a fascist cult. How do you deal with people who don't care about the truth or what they say or don't feel ashamed about it? You can't. There's not actually a way. The only thing that you can do with people like that is humiliate and abuse them. That's it. Like, if you're arguing with them, the only thing you can do is make them cry. I know that sounds like overwrought, but it's completely true. Like, if you're arguing with somebody like that, it stops being about the arguments, and it's entirely about, like, bullying them. Because if they, like, get flustered or look weak or whatever, I didn't want to go super hard against that guy, because, again, like, he did literally, like a week ago, he was in a cult. True. Like, an actual proper cult, you know? But, like, damn, man.
And now
he's not exactly
in the best place,
abundant of moral character. I guess it really does indicate that the only political education these guys have is a collection of talking points about how America is bad and countries that aren't America are good. You know, but that's it. There's no political education outside of that.
And all small
my mouth
countries
actually fell open.
Yeah,
that was pretty bad. That was
on the board.
Pretty fucking insane. Basically on the tier of Holocaust denial. Yeah, I hope so. Maybe this can serve as a reinforcement of what I said before. This is what I mean when I say that I actually find it easier to talk with Nazis than I do people like that. First of all, I don't believe there's that much of a difference in their ideologies. If you got into the root of it, he would defend any genocide or ethnic oppression done by any of the states that he defends. You know, Syria, China, India, you know he'd defend Modi. Russia, anything. Like, the death count, the total death count of, like, all the stuff that he would defend. Yeah, like, would rack up into the millions easily. Yeah, Assad. So it's, you know, obviously just in, like, the flat moral equivacy, I think there's something there. But additionally, like, with regards to the Nazis, usually they're delusional on, like, a collection of issues that I'm kind of, like, prepared for. Like, I know the talking point. It's, you know, they have all the same talking points about, Holocaust denial, like the camps, you know, they're all like, ooh, wooden doors, swimming pools, blah, blah. I know these talking points. And you can argue against them point by point. Not to say they'll listen necessarily, but you can. But in his case, I'm sure you guys noticed, that guy is delusional about like 80% of all things. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just a collection of things, it's all things.
Yeah.
Even remotely affiliated with any of these topics, which just makes it very difficult to have a conversation. Oh my god, Vaush, I just realized I met that guy IRL in New York City, and he was like, you blocked me on Twitter? Huh, wonder why.
What?
That's wild. Well, I guess that guy gets outside, somewhat then. Do you think that cultist could be turned to our side? No, I think that guy is as far from a good potential comrade as any person can be. I mean that sincerely. I would prefer almost any, literally almost any group, any member of any group, before I would, like, go to that group right there. Which is why it chafes me so much that they call themselves socialists. The fact that he said revisionism wasn't a thing, fact that he said that Marx was, like, incorrect on points of self-determination and like democracy being preferable to authoritarianism. Yeah, just oof. Wild stuff out there. Well, let's not belabor the point too much. It's actually a oh yeah, here is the Twitter co-post from him right after the fact. This is what I mean about them not actually believing anything.
Show the post.
I mean, it's obviously this guy is susceptible to cult mentality because he was literally in a cult. So now he's like
mocking,
he's
down goes Vaush.
mimicking
Yankee Tankie rising. Red please rising.
So I guess this guy's whole life is going to be him like Frankenstein hobbling together other people's mannerisms.
Oh my
But anyway,
God.
like behavior like this, you know, there's not much to be done outside of mocking them, really. This tweet confirms he only did it for the clout. With respect, who the f cares? He's literally homeless. That's why he filmed that from an alley. He's been open about this. He lives in an abandoned house. He just got out of a cult. I'm in a nice house and I'm rich. Like, what am I going to do? Get mad about that? As far as remember what I said before about political mental illness? Like, as far as I'm concerned, in a functional sense, he's mentally ill. Like, you can't have politics like that and be well-ordered in the mind. I don't care what anyone has to say about that. I'm right, and I'll die thinking that I'm right on that. So, like, I don't, like, whatever, man.
Damn.
I get that feeling sometimes from people. I got that feeling from Mel, too, where they have so little going for themselves that just, like, the feeling of elation that they get from the attention and the you know the engagement from like you know being dunked on online is like the main thing they like. Oh, shit like that actually depresses me, man. Oh God, I'm not playing it up for a bit. I actually just give me 1 second, okay? We have politics to talk about. Just give me a second. I knew this would be a bad idea. I mean, I had fun with the convo, don't get me wrong. It's just like, holy shit. He actually did win. He did psychic damage. Yeah, I guess so. Vaush, I'm currently living in Iran. The house prices are rocketing to the roof right here. Yeah, guys, here's a quick tip, okay? Do you guys want to hear, like, a devastating truth that socialists don't want to know? All right?
We actually, like, did a whole segment about a debate right now. I'm gonna carve it up and I'm gonna upload it as a video. And I'm gonna... But I cannot monetize any videos yet, but I'm gonna still upload the video for people to watch, subscribe, like, and comment. Please do it once I upload it.